Coming up on Hands on Tech, let's go for a thought experiment. Should the iPod Classic make a return?
This is TWiT.
Hello and welcome to Hands on, or I should say, hello and welcome to Hands on Tech. It is December, one of my favorite months of the year, and today, as is always the case, I, Mikah Sargent, am taking your tech questions and answering them. Occasionally you write in with a question that is not about tech support per se, but instead is simply a thought experiment. And so I'm kind of interested in this question, which comes in from Michael. Michael has written in with the following. Do you think Apple will ever create what will be an updated iPod Classic, which could be updated to be a home ecosystem device? Use an old iPhone device, strip the telephone component, use latest Bluetooth and Wi-Fi standards, modified software mimicking the iPhone without the telephone. They would probably have many sales if the price was right, and that would be significantly less than the lowest price on the lowest level iPhone available today. Michael, let me read this again. Use an old iPhone device, strip the telephone component, use the latest Bluetooth and Wi-Fi standards, and modified software mimicking the iPhone, less the telephone. Are you getting it? You're describing an iPad, Michael. I understand that in part, what you do mean here is a small device, right? Like the iPod Classic was, or like the iPod Touch was. But ultimately, when it comes to this category, we saw the destruction of, the end of, the sunsetting of the iPod Classic, or the iPod Touch, rather. And honestly, that device just was not getting the sales, right, that Apple was expecting. And when you have these other options available, it kind of didn't have a reason to be there. You know, Apple is regularly pushing for bigger, better screens, bigger, better cameras, bigger, better battery life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That said, I 100% understand sort of the desire for this. I love the idea of a device that has a bunch of storage in it, right? That can hold all of the songs that I want to listen to, something that could just be in the car, or as you're talking about, to be this kind of home ecosystem device, right? This home hub. That part, when you said the home hub, that's especially where I said, what you're describing is an iPad. Now, it also kind of made me think about how, Michael, it's a little bit kind of like a HomePod in a way, right? Because it is this device that doesn't technically have the telephone component. It has the latest Bluetooth and Wi-Fi standards. It can do most of what you would expect something to do when it comes to this home ecosystem. But ultimately, yeah, this is where the iPad falls in line, right? Apple is rumored to be working on an updated sort of home hub style iPad-like device that would sit in your home always and serve as a screen that you can interact with your different home products, your Apple home products, your lights and your locks and your AC, heating, all that jazz. And so when it comes to that, certainly I think that this is a category that Apple has been focused on for some time, but it's just not that exact form factor that you're talking about. So to answer your direct question, Michael, do I think Apple will ever create an updated iPod Classic? Obviously, time will tell. There's no sure way to know. I don't think we'll see a return of an iPod Classic style device. I think its time has come and gone. And the company has so many other product categories to focus on and to work on regularly that felt like sort of a passion project by the time the iPod Touch went the way of the dodo. And given that Apple also has to consider how it can bring in new customers, the idea of handing a much younger person, an iPod Touch was pretty palatable. Then you go, okay, the iPod Touch is no longer available. Let me give them an iPad, right? Or let me give them, gods forbid, an iPhone. And that then keeps this person in, or that family in the Apple ecosystem. It keeps them interested in what's there. It keeps them interested in wanting to have the next version and the next version and the next version. So I do think that this is an interesting thought experiment for sure. Definitely understand this idea of wanting to kind of have this stripped down product. And frankly, if you hold on to an old iPhone, that's kind of what this is, right? You even talk about it. Use an old iPhone device, strip the telephone component. So yeah, I take an older iPhone and I don't have a SIM card in it. And this becomes this kind of device that you're talking about. In fact, there is a third-party app called Home Controller, and I think Controller for short. And this app has a built-in hub functionality where you take a phone that you always have at home and you have that connected, and it kind of adds special automations to your smart home setup. So there are ways to go about using an older device and making use of this. It also reminds me, I think it was Samsung who did this. I'm pretty sure it was Samsung. It may have been Google with its old Pixel devices, but one of these companies said, look, you probably have old Android devices rolling around at home and you aren't using them anymore. So how can you recycle them? And kind of came up with special categories for these products. One of them was like a baby monitor. And so you took an older phone, which had a camera on the front and the back and had microphone, obviously it's a phone, and a speaker. And then you could use it as a means of serving as a baby monitor. I'm hoping someone in the chat's going to come around and give me a link to this. I'm pretty sure it was Samsung who did this, but we'll see if the chat comes around with it. But the point is that this was a way of upcycling that old technology, and I think that that's more what we would have here rather than going forth with kind of a newer device. I also would argue that Apple has to put its money where its mouth is when it comes to its green initiatives. And so the thought of, at this point in the year of 2025 leading into 2026, having a device that is sort of on the cusp of being an iPhone, but is not quite an iPhone, is perhaps a little bit not entirely green-minded in the sense of there's going to come a day where the person who has that is just going to want to switch into something that does have the telephone component as well. So yeah, there are some different options, and yes, that is a controller for HomeKit. But I wish I could remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was like Samsung who came up with this idea of taking some older devices and turning them into things like a baby monitor. So, Michael, I love this question, and I love sort of the thought experiment of it all. My favorite part, though, Michael, is your end there. They would probably have many sales if the price was right, and that would be significantly less than the lowest pricing on the lowest level iPhone available today. One could only imagine what kind of sales they would have and if it would be a successful product. But we can hope, we can wish, we can imagine for sure. But I'm kind of curious now, if you want to write in hot@twit.tv, if you could have Apple make a product. It can be a product that it used to make. It could be a completely new product. It could be anything. What product do you wish Apple would make that you would buy? For me, I would love it if Apple, and this is, I know it's a common refrain among the Apple enjoyers out there, but I do wish that Apple would get back into the router game. I loved my my Airport Extreme, and it was, for its time, a great router that had some added functionality. Something that was super cool about what Apple did with the airports was give you the ability to stream music from them long before anyone else came along and was doing it in the same way. I think, well, I shouldn't say that. Sonos was doing some of it for that time, but this ease of just plugging in a speaker and being able to play music throughout your home was really cool. And then the added functionality of having a hard drive connected as well made it really cool. And it was very simple, once again, in the Mac ecosystem or in the Apple ecosystem to be able to control these devices and manage them. So I really, really, really loved my airports and was sad whenever those went away. And, Eero is what I have now, and it does pretty well, but it just doesn't quite have that same flair that I enjoyed about the Airport Extreme that I had. So that is my device. Again, write me, hot@twit.tv with your feedback on what would be yours. Speaking of feedback, we'll get to some in just a moment.
Are you curious about Club TWiT? I can't blame you. It's our premium membership that transforms your TWiT experience. Every show, ad-free and uninterrupted, exclusive podcasts you won't find anywhere else, behind-the-scenes content, and VIP access to our private Discord community where you can connect directly with hosts and fellow tech enthusiasts. Sound good and ready to upgrade? Visit twit.tv/clubtwit.
So Charles has written in with a response to an earlier episode. Charles had written in before with some feedback that was great regarding my episode where there was a question about recycling old tech. Charles provided some feedback for that, which was great. We ended up reading it out on an episode, but Charles is now talking about Linux, also based in a conversation that took place in our Club TWiT Discord. So here's what Charles had to say. Wizardling, and for those who don't know, Wizardling is a listener and member of Club TWiT, and Wizardling in the Discord mentioned this. So here's what Charles says. Wizardling mentioned one piece that I have observed but failed to mention explicitly. Even running Linux, currently with Debian 13.1 and GNOME KDE Plasma, the satellite laptop is still a hair sluggish, especially when compared to a newer, more modern machine. When compared to the slow performance under Windows 10, the performance is a ton better. Of course, better is all relative. This is some background from Charles. Charles says, I started out my journey into Linux dual booting Windows 10 and Manjaro. I eventually figured out these issues with Manjaro. 1, I had to disable secure boot in order to run Manjaro. 2, there is no easily available way to run full disk encryption in Manjaro. And 3, Manjaro's setup does not allow for the manual partition configuration, or if it does, it's not easy to do so. Charles went on to say, once I got all my data off of the Windows 10 partition, I switched to a single boot Linux setup. I elected to start with Debian since it is stable and has a good reputation. Plus, I had to start somewhere. Turns out that I am happy with Debian because 1, I can enable secure boot again. 2, I can set up FDE, that's full disk encryption. And 3, I am able to manually configure the partitions. So this was in response to a conversation about when we're recycling old tech, do we get rid of it and go that way, or do we keep it? And in many cases, I've recommended installing a light version of Linux. Charles said, look, I was doing the dual boot thing because I was a little worried about switching to Linux or, needed to get some stuff prepared before I made the switch. But now that I made that full switch, it's been delicious and perfect since then. So I'm really happy to hear that, Charles. Glad that has worked out for you. If you have thought experiments that you would like to write in with, Always happy to take those. Also, always happy to hear your feedback. Again, hot@twit.tv is how you get in touch. Now is the time where, again, we talked about wizardling from the Discord. How do you join the Discord? You gotta join Club Twit. twit.tv/clubtwit is where you go for that. $10 a month, $120 a year. You get access to so much ad-free episodes, so many different feeds that we have now, behind the scenes, before the show, after the show. We've got a feed for our live coverage of events. We have a feed for our special shows in the club, like my Crafting Corner, Stacy's Book Club, and loads more, and access, as I mentioned, to that Discord. Join now. I believe we're running a little deal right now, even in December. So you can check that out. And of course, try it out 2 weeks free as well. twit.tv/clubtwit. With that, we have reached the end of this episode of Hands on Tech. I'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, though, it is time to say goodbye.